How does a woman who built a multi-million-dollar brand, teaching self-respect and high-value relationships, end up a single mother betrayed by the very man she called her manifestation?
I will not settle for someone that's cheating on me. You guys, do you understand what cheating is?
This story isn't just about a cheating scandal. It's a deep dive into the dangerous hypocrisy of internet gurus and a pattern of manipulation far darker than anyone could have imagined.
Your ex cheated on you, your ex abused you, this and that. Glow up in yourself. Blow up with your energy.
Have you ever ignored a red flag in a relationship, only to realize later it was a billboard? Comment below with a red flag emoji if you've been there. Before we expose the devastating text messages that broke the internet, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more deep dives, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what happens next. WizardLiz, whose real name is Lizzy, constructed an empire by delivering what millions of women craved: unapologetic confidence and a roadmap to their dream life. Her advice wasn't just a friendly suggestion, it was delivered as a commandment. She taught women to never settle, to recognize their worth, and to walk away from anyone who was less than perfect.
Walk away. Walk away. You will find much better than him, okay? He is the bare minimum.
There was a magnetic, almost hypnotic certainty in her voice that made followers believe she held the secret key to attracting the perfect man and life. She wasn't just an influencer. She was the big sister who would tell you the hard truths. But while she was broadcasting her rules for empowerment, she was about to become the very cautionary tale she warned everyone against. The guru who preached about spotting red flags was living with a man who was a walking, talking billboard of them. True self-worth isn't about broadcasting standards. It's about quietly living by them, especially when no one is watching.
You don't find someone you like in your country, you go look in another country. I do not care, but you don't just go settle and lower yourself and accept bad behavior because that's just how my environment is. Or you constantly let people walk all over you because this is how it goes in my culture. You have the power to change things.
Years before her fame exploded, Liz was in a stable, long-term relationship with her college boyfriend, Landon. She ended things for one of the most bizarre reasons imaginable. She claimed she was too comfortable. For a woman who would later preach about relationship goals, ending a healthy relationship because it felt too secure was a glaring contradiction.
Why did I end my relationship? First of all, I was way too comfortable in the relationship, and I posted about this on TikTok.
She declared a new era of self-discovery, vowing to be single and self-sufficient, famously stating she didn't need a partner.
I don't need a partner, to be honest. I could live my whole life now and I can just be on my own. And
that self-discovery phase lasted exactly 3 months. Just 90 days after celebrating the importance of being alone, she announced she was getting married to the same man she'd left. This wasn't personal growth, it was a personal boomerang. This massive reversal was the first crack in the foundation of her brand. A contradiction she papered over with a story of destiny. The origin story of their reunion sounds like something straight out of a cheesy Hallmark movie, and that was the first red flag. According to WizardLiz, after years of barely speaking, fate intervened when they randomly bumped into each other at an airport in Athens, a meeting she described as a powerful, intuitive connection.
And then I felt such a strong energy from him, and I'm very intuitive, so I feel things. I don't really think, I feel. So I'm sitting in front of him and it was almost like we're sitting and he's talking to me and everyone else started to become noise.
She sold this narrative hard, but what she called destiny and the universe aligning was about to become the foundation for a public disaster. She attributed it all to her manifestation powers.
Decided, you know what, right now I'm gonna take the manifestation journal that I created and I am gonna write in this manifestation journal a partner that I want to attract. I was gonna write it in a way that we were already married, and I wrote down what kind of characteristic he has. So I was like, oh, I'm so grateful.
It's easy to call a convenient coincidence manifestation, but it's wiser to call it what it often is: a red flag you're choosing to paint white. The magic wasn't in the universe, it was in the story she was selling to herself and her audience. How do you know if a relationship is real? For WizardLiz, the proof was in the public performance. From the moment of their airport reunion, their rekindled relationship was immediately turned into fuel for her content machine, a relentless display of perfection for her millions of followers.
I am getting married and I am engaged. I met Landon 3 years ago and we met online. He was the first man to ever approach me online and to
Every milestone was documented, every interaction performed for the camera. Liz turned their engagement into a full-blown production, analyzing Landon's high-value behavior as he showered her with gifts and affection.
A love letter. He wrote me a book. He wrote me a song. He came to my house with thousands of flowers every time he matched up, and he just swooned me back in. And I was like, wow, like he's putting this much effort into me.
But this constant need for public validation often signals deep-seated insecurity. Genuinely secure couples don't need an audience to thrive. They enjoy their private moments. This wasn't love, it was marketing, and the product she was selling was a fantasy that was about to publicly expire. What happens when a guru breaks their own golden rule? The speed of their relationship progression was alarming, going from a chance encounter to engagement in just a few months. This directly contradicted her own core teachings about taking time to truly know a person before making life-altering commitments.
If they wanted to, you would know.
She had built her brand on advising women to be cautious and deliberate, yet her own actions were impulsive and rushed. She reframed this glaring hypocrisy for her audience as a sign of how powerful their connection was, that when it's right, it moves fast, and you just know.
Compromise a little bit in life because that's just how it is, especially in relationships. But when she has certain boundaries.
In reality, she was teaching millions of young women to ignore one of the most critical red flags in any relationship. A rushed timeline is a warning, not a trophy. The intense pace wasn't a sign of destiny, it was a sign of impending disaster. The next major milestone felt less like a joyful surprise and more like another rushed, performative plot point in their public love story: the pregnancy announcement. For someone who preached about building a solid foundation and acting as a responsible parent to your inner child, getting pregnant within months of reuniting was the ultimate paradox.
I truly believe that taking care of yourself as if you are your own parent is one of the best ways to take care of yourself.
Instead of acknowledging the impulsive nature of their timeline, Liz framed the pregnancy as yet another manifestation success. Proof of her superior ability to create her perfect life.
Today I'm gonna become a mother. I'm gonna create a beautiful family for myself.
She was confusing the intoxicating rush of reconnection with genuine emotional intimacy. By the time she realized the difference between shared memories from college and real-world compatibility, she was already carrying his child. This wasn't a manifestation of love, it was a manifestation of recklessness, wrapped in a spiritual bow. Have you ever met someone who seemed to be everything you've ever wanted, down to the last detail? This was Landon. A massive red flag celebrated as a green one was how perfectly he seemed to match WizardLiz's very public manifestation list. It was almost too convenient.
Oh my god, I was gonna do this for you. Oh my god, I was going to... Shut up. You didn't do anything.
This is a common tactic used by manipulative individuals. They study their target's desires and mirror them back, becoming the dream partner. Since Liz had broadcast her ideal man's every characteristic to millions, Landon had the perfect playbook. She saw it as proof that her methods worked, that her energy had made him into this perfect being.
My energy made him so magical to me. Thought like he's so successful, he's so good at manifesting. It stopped when I removed my energy.
In reality, she was being sold a reflection of her own fantasy. She wasn't manifesting a partner, she was being targeted by one. When someone seems too good to be true, they often are. Even in the most picture-perfect fantasy, cracks of reality eventually start to show. Long before the truth came out, Liz later revealed she was having intuitive feelings and even recurring dreams that Landon was being unfaithful. Her gut was screaming at her. But what happened when she shared these fears with her manifested partner?
It's not a great message. It's honestly a toxic message. This thing I've seen people saying of like, oh, you can never trust a man. Like, never trust your husband. Like, he may just cheat on you. You never know. It's like, at the end of the day, the man and the woman have to be trusting.
He didn't reassure her or examine his own behavior. Instead, he dismissed her feelings and called her crazy. This is a classic and insidious form of emotional abuse known as gaslighting, designed to make a partner doubt their own sanity and intuition. She was preaching about trust while her own intuition was being systematically dismantled.
Write down like, okay, what are my goals? Why am I in this relationship? What am I getting here? Is this fulfilling me? Is my soul fulfilled? No. Okay, what can I do next? How can I get out of this? Okay, start thinking like that. Next, job. Is this job fulfilling me? Am I just doing this job to make money, to invest in something else that will fulfill me, that I feel good about? Or am I just doing this job so I can wait until I have my pension and then just die?
Her inner wisdom was asking all the right questions, but she allowed his manipulation to provide all the wrong answers. Always trust your gut. A partner who dismisses your fears is not a partner who protects your heart. At 4 months pregnant, the entire facade didn't just crack, it violently shattered. Liz discovered that Landon was living a complete double life. This wasn't a spontaneous mistake or a momentary lapse in judgment. He had deliberately created a secret Snapchat account with the specific intention of meeting other women.
Partnership if the person is going to choose someone else over you. That defeats the whole point. But forgiveness is a big thing. So if you have ever had a trust issue come up, you gotta learn how to forgive and work through that. Otherwise, that'll just turn into crippling insecurity.
The premeditated nature of this action showed calculated, cold deception. The discovery didn't even come from Liz's own investigation. Instead, the woman Landon was messaging took the initiative to contact Liz's friend directly, providing undeniable, concrete proof of his betrayal. While Liz was planning their future, he was actively planning his infidelity. The woman who built an empire on unwavering standards was about to face the ultimate test of her own principles.
I will not settle for someone that's cheating on me. You guys, do you understand what cheating is?
What does betrayal look like in black and white? It looks like the screenshots that surfaced online. The evidence was damning, revealing the chilling depth of Landon's deception in his own words. When the other woman asked the crucial question, "Aren't you married?" he responded with a flat, cold no. He then proceeded to minimize his entire life with his pregnant fiancé, dismissing it as a complicated, long-distance internet thing.
Like, oh my god, the girls that listen to Liz are so hot.
This phrase was exceptionally cruel. It deliberately erased the reality of their shared home, her belongings in his apartment, and the child they were expecting together. He wasn't just cheating. With a few callous words, he was actively negating her very existence in his life to make himself appear single and available. The casualness with which he erased her revealed everything about his character. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. The deception didn't stop there. As the woman in the messages pressed him further, Landon's lies became even more brazen and disrespectful. He used a casual LOL while denying his relationship, a shocking display of contempt for both Liz and their unborn child. When his flimsy story started to unravel, he didn't come clean. Instead, he deflected and tried to escalate the situation by arranging an in-person meeting, writing, "Haha, do you want to see me? I can tell you in person."
You crazy. There's people half of your potential. They think they're the king on earth. They're literally accomplishing everything.
This wasn't just someone making a poor choice. This was a calculated predator on the hunt, comfortable lying and manipulating to get what he wanted. These weren't just messages. They were receipts of a double life, providing undeniable proof of a character built on deceit and a profound lack of integrity. He wasn't just breaking her trust, he was laughing while doing it. After being publicly exposed with undeniable proof, how did Landon respond? Not with genuine remorse, but with a masterclass in manipulation. Instead of a sincere apology, he posted their baby's ultrasound with a pathetic caption asking for understanding, not forgiveness. He then tried to justify his actions by claiming he felt unappreciated, listing the gifts he bought and doors he opened as if basic kindness could ever excuse calculated betrayal.
Look, I'm not going to come on here and ask for your forgiveness. I'm just going to come on here and ask for understanding, because I made a mistake. But that doesn't mean that I don't love Liz.
This is a textbook tactic of a narcissist, shifting the blame to paint themselves as the victim. His entire response was a desperate attempt to manipulate public opinion and avoid taking any real accountability for his actions. A true apology takes responsibility. A manipulative one makes excuses. How does a queen of self-respect handle the ultimate disrespect? Initially, Liz responded with a statement of strength that rallied her followers. She announced she was selling her $100,000 engagement ring and donating the proceeds to single mothers, a powerful move to transform a symbol of broken promises into a force for good.
You wanna be someone that people are obsessed with? Why would they be obsessed with you? If you're constantly sitting in your bedroom, being sad all day, listening to sad music, watching sad shows.
However, this noble promise quickly became mired in logistical chaos. She later claimed she couldn't legally sell the ring and her chosen method for donation, Sending money directly to followers who claimed to be single mothers raised serious questions about verification and accountability. Her explanations about bank flagging her account seemed convenient and unprofessional. While her initial intent may have been noble, the messy execution damaged her credibility and made her response appear just as chaotic as the situation itself, leaving followers confused. When your brand is perfection, messy is a problem. Just when the internet thought the drama had peaked, the story took a much darker turn. This wasn't just about one cheating scandal anymore. Another woman, Abby, who was Landon's ex-girlfriend from the period right before Liz, came forward with her own story, and what she revealed was chilling. Her testimony transformed the narrative from one of infidelity to one of a dangerous, repeating pattern of abuse.
An actual narcissist wouldn't act like a narcissist.
Abby revealed that Landon had cheated on her multiple times, but what was more disturbing was his response when caught. He would flip the script entirely, blaming her for not loving him enough and emotionally manipulating her into forgiving his betrayals. She also alleged that he had become physically violent and intimidating, punching holes in walls and cornering her during arguments. This was no longer just a man who made a mistake. This was a portrait of a serial manipulator. The red flags weren't just in the relationship, they were in his very character. What happens when the victim of a manipulator tries to escape? Abby's story continued, painting a portrait of a man who was not just unfaithful, but completely unhinged. Most disturbingly, she disclosed that she had suffered a miscarriage during their relationship, and he had continued to cheat on her even during this profoundly traumatic time.
You should not be worrying about gold diggers. You should be worrying about...
When she finally gathered the strength to break up with him and move on, he refused to accept it. According to Abby, after she traveled to Europe to heal and get away, Landon followed her there. He tracked her down in Ibiza and confronted her in public, despite having no legitimate reason to be there. This obsessive behavior, the inability to accept rejection, was so concerning that she had to consider getting a restraining order against him. This wasn't a man heartbroken. This was a man dangerously obsessed with control. Perhaps the most damning part of Abby's testimony was the timeline, which exposed the true depth of Landon's treachery. She revealed that Landon was still sending her dozens of desperate, apologetic emails well into his perfect new relationship with WizardLiz. This was the ultimate betrayal. It meant that while he was love-bombing Liz, presenting himself as her manifested dream partner, he was simultaneously trying to win back his ex-girlfriend behind the scenes.
At the end of the day, the man and the woman have to be trusting.
This single fact proved that his entire relationship with Liz was a calculated act from the very beginning. He wasn't a good man who made a terrible mistake. He was a serial manipulator running the same toxic playbook on multiple women, promising commitment to one while pining for another. The person someone is behind your back is the person they truly are. His character was consistent, and it was consistently deceitful. Just when it seemed the story couldn't get any more shocking, a final devastating rumor began to circulate, backed by compelling evidence. WizardLiz had taken Landon back. Eagle-eyed followers noticed that both Liz and Landon had posted separate Instagram stories from what appeared to be the exact same luxury hotel in London. The matching ornate hallways and spa promotional materials were too specific to be a coincidence.
Possible. And I started looking at the signs from God or from the universe, and life became so easy, and I kind of see life as a video game now.
True, this represented one of the most spectacular acts of hypocrisy in social media history. The woman who built her entire brand on never settling, on having uncompromising standards, had potentially gone back to the man who publicly humiliated and systematically betrayed her. This created a massive credibility crisis that shattered her brand, leaving her followers bewildered and betrayed. The guru had not only ignored her own advice, she had set it on fire. Ultimately, the WizardLiz saga is a cautionary tale about the deep-seated problems within the guru industrial complex. It shows how easily charismatic but unqualified individuals can gain massive following, and how vulnerable people seeking guidance can be exploited by those who haven't done their own inner work. The emphasis on manifestation and positive thinking, while appealing, can encourage followers to ignore real-world red flags.
I will not settle for someone that's cheating on me. You guys, do you understand what cheating is?
When the guru's life inevitably fails to match their teachings, it's the followers who are left with shattered trust and doubt in their own judgment. The lesson here is clear. Be a critical consumer of online advice. Influence does not equal wisdom, and confidence is not a substitute for character. Always seek guidance from qualified professionals, not just charismatic personality. The WizardLiz saga is a harsh lesson in the dangers of guru culture. It teaches us that actions will always speak louder than words, and rushed relationship timelines are almost always a red flag. Be wary of anyone who claims to have all the answers. Social media presents a curated, often fake version of reality. The real tragedy isn't just Liz's downfall, it's the millions of followers who may have lost faith in their own judgment because they trusted someone who couldn't trust herself. In the end, the most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself, and that's something no guru can manifest for you. This video is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional advice from a qualified expert in psychology, relationships, or law.